Hey everyone, Farmer here and welcome back to the Dark Forest for the next episode in our Let's Play series. So we're pretty much starting off straight from where we left off the last video. And the reason for that is we need to get a second layer of fertilizer onto our oat field. And I want to use the sprayer to do it, and I'm a bit concerned that if we do skip through to the next month, the crop's going to go into the next growth stage, which will then be at a point where we can get crop destruction. And I'm not sure if any of our tractors in the current setups and the sprayer that I want to get will have narrow tyres. I know the tyres on this one are fairly narrowish, but I'm not sure if they're classed as narrow tyres or whether they'll destroy the crop. And the same on the sprayer as well. I'm pretty sure it won't destroy the crop, but just to be on the safe side, I'd rather get the second application of fertilizer on now, so it's done, and then we don't have to worry about that. So we sell this load of logs that I cut. So I cut another 3 trees down at the back of the house just to give us enough money so we can actually buy the sprayer and some liquid fertilizer. So we'll go back to the farm area where we're dumping all the equipment currently. We'll drop the trail off and then head down to the store to buy the sprayer and some liquid fertilizer. Okay, so I've switched over to the John Deere, as this is the tractor I want to use for the spraying. And the spray we're going to get is the same one I used on Silver Run Forest, if you saw that series, which is the small John Deere sprayer, which is not a bad sprayer actually. It's a 1,000 litre storage tank on it, and it's a 9 metre work width, and it's only what, $5,850 to buy. Yeah, so we're going to go with the John Deere 250 sprayer by Slucius Modding. I'll keep it standard just to save a bit of money. Don't make any changes, they're going to cost a little bit more. So that's 5,850, and then we just need 1 IBC of liquid fertilizer. That's another 3,200, but this should last us a while with just the 2 fields we've got, as liquid fertilizer does seem to go a long way. Okay, so back down to the farm. This is going to be one of those jobs that's going to be tricky to see where we've been. This is where I really wish they'd had the feature that's in precision farming. I can get my words out then. Where the minimap actually changes colour, so when you drive into a field with a spreader, fertilised spreader or seeder, you get the colour showing that actual field so you can see where you've been. I really wish that was a feature in the base game as well. I'm not sure why Giants don't implement it, why it's strictly just for precision farming, because it would be super handy like now to be able to see the minimap, the field on there turning blue or darker blue, because hopefully we're getting the second application of fertilizer. So yeah, fortunately I've got the enhanced vehicle control mod, so it's not so much of an issue doing this, but it's also one of those things in a video you can't actually see anything being done, as there's no like visual texture change to see. So I'll turn that back off. Move my stream deck back so I can access the enhanced vehicle control buttons. So that's now set to lanes, so we'll get cruise control on. And away we go. I mean, even top down it's very difficult to actually see the texture change, and I will just double check it is actually applying fertilizer, which I'm pretty sure it is. So we are there. We just check. Needs rolling. Yeah, so we're getting the second application of fertilizer on, but it is extremely difficult to actually see. So yeah, it's one of those jobs that's probably a bit pointless. You're just watching me driving up and down when you can't actually see much being done. So yeah, we'll get this one done, and then say we can rest up until June, and then we'll come back and we'll continue clearing some more trees around the back of the house, working our way up to where I want to build the first farm building. We're on the last pass of this field, so this should be this field completely fertilized. I'm just going to quickly try, and before we finish up for May, I'm going over the other field with the sprayer. I don't think it will apply fertilizer, but as it's a different type of fertilizer, I'm not sure if it'll work. I can't remember, because we've applied fertilizer with the seed drill. Sometimes you can't then add another layer until you change the field state. So if it had rolled it, we may have done, but yeah, just wanted to quickly check. So we're gonna have to wait till next month to do that field, but we can go and rest up now until June. We'll come back. I'll probably get the sorghum field sprayed, because it's going to be pretty much the same as this. You're not really going to have to see what's going on. Probably not going to be that interesting to watch. So I'll get that done first thing in June, and then that's both those fields sorted until harvest. And then we'll continue working away, clearing the trees in this area. What I would like to do is probably put a track in coming off this way, going up, so alongside the house, which will then eventually lead into like a small farmyard area where we can get our first building. I don't know if we'll get enough trees cleared today to sort that out, but we'll see. So yeah, I'll be back in June. Alright, so we're back in June, and I'm just finishing off spraying the sorghum, so this will also be fully fertilised. So just over 300 litres left from our first 1000 litres we put in here. So we know we can do both of these fields for around about 700 litres of fertiliser. So the 2000 litres we purchased, we'll have 1300 litres left of that. Well, we have got 1300 litres, so we could get one more sprayed on both of these fields and then have just a little bit less, 600 litres, so just a little bit short, to get 3 rounds of application on both those fields. But that is another job done. The good thing about the sprayer as well, as now there will be no requirement to plough either of those fields for next time, and we'll be able to also use the sprayer as for herbicide as a preemptive spray, so we can stop the weeds coming through altogether. And also we won't need to buy a mechanical weeder, and also we'll be able to spray the weeds before they do come through, or before the crops come through as well, which means we won't get a yield deficit. So next job is to, as I said, to continue clearing trees from our land. So we're going to continue working around where we cut the grass that way, and what I'm going to do is go to the store and buy a second logging trailer, as we're now getting quite far from the sawmill, and the more we cut, the further away we're going to get from the sawmill. So it kind of makes sense while we've got the money to buy a second trailer, so we can double the amount of logs we can take each trip over to the sawmill. Right, so we'll buy the second trailer. I don't know why I keep trying to find the trigger. Just go through the normal menu, it's the same thing. So we want forestry equipment, and we'll go for the Lizard Wood Trailer by Henry and NDF. I will keep this as standard. Comes actually with a standard hitch. We don't technically need this because this one can go on the back of the other. But yeah, we might as well just leave the other hitch on, because then I won't have to worry about which way around they go if I do separate them. So that's $4,150. So we'll buy that. As I said, this will just allow us to haul more logs over to the sawmill with each trip. Especially now we're getting that bit further away from the actual sawmill itself. So I think we could do with coming down here as well at some point with the pickup truck with a skid steer on the back, and get that big bag and the liquid fertilizer IBC back up to the farm. Okay, so we're back at the farm area. We'll get both trailers hooked up and then we can start cutting down some more trees. And what I will do first is mark out roughly where the track's going to go. So I want to come off pretty much as a straight line, so we'll go 270 degrees. If we walk straight forward along here, I don't want to come too close to the house. So that tree to the left there can stay there for now. So we'll need to get rid of that one. Trouble is, normally I'd do this in landscaping mode. I might be able to actually do it if we delete the meadow grass. Because that shouldn't cost us any money. So as I mentioned in one of the earlier episodes, I use the degrees of rotation on the little mini map bottom. So if I set that to 270, and then if we go decoration or landscaping plants, I select the meadow grass. And all I want to do then is roughly where I'm standing. So if I put that there, if I now hold down delete, I'll be able to just, yeah, that's not costing us any money. So we can use this as a marker then, so I know roughly where to cut the trees. Actually, we could actually just widen that and use that as the track for now. If we go to that width, rather than paint texture in, just delete the grass, so give us a nice track. I'm not sure how far in we're going to come to start building the farm yard up. So I'll go probably a little bit further than we need, but we can always add the grass back in. We don't go that far up. So that'll give us our nice kind of track up to the farm. So we'll get rid of that tree. Anything to the right hand side we'll remove as well. So all of these ones over this side we'll get rid of. And then we'll just work our way up. So any ones that are too close to this track, so that one's fine. Or any that are in the track we'll remove. And then we'll just slowly work our way up until we get to a decent area. I don't want to be too close to the house, but also don't want to go too far in because it'll take a while to get there. So we'll concentrate on this side. If we do any more grass cutting, I am tempted, because we're not that far away, may look at getting the winch or just try and pushing the logs into the clearing until we get too far back, then come back in with the mulcher or the mower and then cut some more grass. So we'll start off with this one as it's the first one here, and we'll do the same as previously, 5 meter lengths, and I'll probably do them all 270 so they all fall parallel to each other. And then it'll be just a case of clearing as many trees as we can, loading them up, selling them until we've got a nice opening and clearing that we can then get our first farm building. We also need to get the hay bales collected up as well. I won't do that just yet until we've got somewhere to put them. So maybe if we can get a small shelter built, we can put them into like some storage until we're ready to use them. That's the first 5. Now 5 again. That one's just slightly longer, but we'll just trim the end off. So yeah, I'm going to continue, say, from the ones we've marked going up that way, and anything to the right now up till where we own the land boundary. We probably won't cut that far over in this episode. I want to concentrate more going up the track until we get to a point where, yeah, we've got a big enough opening to get at least one building in, so we can start transferring our equipment up there to store it. Okay, so we've got both trailers sort of filled up. May have been able to squeeze a few more logs on, but I think we've got enough on there for a trip over to the sawmill. So I cleared a few logs, as you've seen in that little section going up along this side of the track. And those ones weren't too bad to see, but we are getting to the point now where more we cut down, they're all going to start dropping into the longer grass. I'm going to have to try and start pushing them out. So 11,536 for those two loads. So let's put a few more dollars in the bank account. So yeah, ideally what I intended to do was cut those trees down and push them out with the skid steer, and then I completely forgot to do that. And then it was only when I come to cut the last one up to 5 metre lengths I was like, yeah, I really should have pushed these out first, then cut them up to 5 metre lengths. So I will probably do that for the next load. Just make sure that when I do fell them, they're pointing towards the open area. And I should be able to just nudge them forward with the skid steer into the clearing, and then we can cut them up into 5 metre lengths there, rather than struggle to find them in the grass and the bushes. Because really I don't really want to waste the grass. I know I could just go through now in between all the trees with the batwing mower and cut it all down, but yeah, it's kind of coming up with that balance between not doing too many jobs similar in too many episodes, so I don't want to keep just cutting every piece of grass we can get for hay. So yeah, we've got a few more trees. Oh, missed a tree. Oh, missed a couple of bits off that last tree. So that's why we need to get rid of this grass. It's so difficult to actually see the logs. Yeah, so what I may do is, what I've also done is, pretty much where we come to the end of the track, it does actually get into a slight clearing here, so there's only a couple of trees there, and there's a fairly decent clearing. So I'm thinking if we can clear up to here, and then we can get the building in pretty much the front of the building where this tree is. So I've marked those few there, so we'll have to get rid of those as well, and those two in the middle. And that should be a clear enough space there to get the first building in. And then that'll give us a starting point for our new farmyard, or the first farmyard, because it won't be the main one we do on here. It'll be a small starter yard, just so we've got somewhere to, let's say, store our equipment, repair our vehicles, refuel, store bales and stuff. And then as we progress further through the map, we'll probably look to get a separate yard area built up as well. So maybe this one can have I don't know if to do cows or sheep to start with, maybe a small sheep farm here. And then as we progress, we get more money, we can then expand into cows, which are a bit more expensive to get started. But yeah, what I'm going to do is continue clearing the trees. I'm just trying to work out the best way to do this, so we can actually see these. Okay, I've cut down quite a few trees. Not sure exactly how many, but I've started to clear a good section to the right of that track going up towards where we marked that last tree. I have pushed quite a few out over to the clearing with the skid steer, but it was very difficult to do. And this skid steer just doesn't really have the power to push these full length trees. So these are all cut up to 5 metre lengths. Just need to finish dealing that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and buy the winch from the Platinum expansion, use it on the back of the tractor just to pull some of these trees out, because I think it's going to be far easier than, say, trying to push them down with the skid steer. And it's not going to take long for us to make the money back for that. So I think it'll be a worthwhile investment. So we'll head up to the store and buy that. And then all those trees I've got cut down, I can drag those out into the clearing, get them de-limbed, and then cut up into 5 metre lengths ready to load up. Okay, so down at the store again, and we'll get the winch system purchased. We shouldn't have too many problems with at least one fall tree with this tractor. Possibly should be able to pull two, but I don't think we'll pull any more than that. And I say the winch only does 6.6 meters, 6.6 tons, which is around about 1 and a bit to 2 fully grown trees. So we'll go with the one from the Platinum expansion, the EGV 65, which is the one we started with on Silver and Forest, but I never actually used. So we'll buy that for 7,500. This should hopefully make it a little bit easier just to get the logs more organised. It'll save a bit of time loading as well if we can get all the logs closer together. So we'll give it a whirl and see how it goes. Okay, so let's give this winch a try and see how well it actually works. I say I never actually used this at all on the Platinum expansion. In the end, I think I just sold it when I built the new farmhouse. So if we back up to one of the trees, if we can get two fairly close together. I just need to remember now what the buttons are for this. I think we press. There we go. That's that one connected. I don't think any of the others are close enough to the end of that one to get another one, but if we drag this one over here, we should now be able to get two of these together. And we can pull both of these out into the clearing. So yeah, as long as we can pull at least two logs, two full trees, I mean, that's not going to be too bad. We can get those disconnected and then we can push those together. I do find though the only one downside to doing this is when you actually try to cut the trees up into the shorter lengths, it can be a bit difficult sometimes to get the tree you want. The chainsaw like icon keeps jumping to the tree next to the one you want. So we'll get these two delimbed. And this one looks like quite a big spruce tree as well. Should make some nice money from this one. That is another thing I do like on this map as well, is not all the trees are the same. So you've got a mix of spruce, pine, and then you've got some smaller spruces, some smaller pines, so they're not all fully grown trees. So they're a little bit more sparse than they are in Wilhelmina Forest, which I did look at going back to Wilhelmina Forest, but it's just far too dense to do a series like this. It just takes so long to clear an area, starting with a chainsaw. It's just not really worth it. So we can, those two there we should be able to get together. Let's see if there's another tree just up here I can pull closer down to that one. So we'll get this one here. So if we do the left analog stick, press that in, then set the right bumper button and A to attach the tree. That's if you use an Xbox controller. I think its keyboard is B. So we'll get this one close to the end of there. And we should be able to get those two connected up. And then we'll drag these two out as well. So yeah, I'm going to continue using this because it does seem to be working really well. This tractor's pulling the two trees, although they're not two fully grown trees. It is pulling them rather easy, so we shouldn't have too many problems getting the trees out of there into this clearing. That way then I don't really have to worry about... Oh, I forgot to lower that down then. Right over the top. I don't have to worry about getting all the trees cut up and cleared out the way. Now I'll be able to, if there's an area I want to like plough a new field in or put a building in, I can just cut the trees down, drag them out of the way, and then do what I want to do with the area. And then we've got those trees to cut up another time. So I'll continue dragging out the rest of those trees, and I probably will cut down and pull out all of the trees up until where we marked that one at the end of the track. So they're all delimbed. And then we can hopefully at least get the new building in. I don't think we'll get all these trees cut up and loaded up, but I'll try my best. But yeah, I've got loads more to cut down. Got another 2 there we can drag down. There's another one there. And another one there as well that I've cut down. There's another one over here. So yeah, quite a few more still to drag down. I'll just see where the track is. There's my track gone. It's a bit further over this. There we go. Yeah, so we're not far off. I mean, that one tree we felled is sticking out a bit further than that. So there's a few more trees to get to this point. And so then those few trees there. So yeah, I'll continue doing that, and we'll come back when all the trees dragged out the way and we've got that clearing created. Okay, so I've sold a few loads of logs. I think about 3 trips we've done to the sawmill with the 2 trailers full. We've still got quite a few trees left here to load up. I may do one more load just to get a few more of these out the way, and then I think that may do us for the tree cutting down today at least and selling. I can then get the rest of those. I'll probably get one load loaded up ready for next time that we can sell straight away. So I've cleared up to the end of the track where we marked that tree, and then I've cleared a couple of trees in that space, so there is just enough clearing there now to get one building in. So once we get rid of this load, we'll have a look at doing that. That log not sitting down. We've got more than enough for the building, and also we've got plenty of money now towards the combine, which we'll need to buy very soon. I think once we've got the combine, the header trailer and the grain trailer, I think we really need to look at focusing on improving how we do the forestry a little bit. So potentially get a better loader that we can pick up more than one big log at a time. Help speed up loading these trailers. And when it comes to cutting down the trees and like delimbing, cutting the logs up, we are a bit limited to processors. There is a couple of cheaper options which attach to the back of a tractor 3-point. I'm not sure on the horsepower requirements. I don't know if they'll work with our current tractor. Is one of the downsides to that. I'll have to have a look. And other processors are obviously a lot more expensive, so it's going to be quite a while before we can afford anything like that. But if there's some way we can speed up and make it more efficient for a cheaper option, then we'll certainly have a look. I definitely think we're coming up to winter after we've got the harvest. There's not going to be much field work to do anyway, so it'll be a good time to focus on improving the forestry side of things, because as you can see there's a lot of trees we need to clear to make any sort of progress or get any sort of decent farm. I think this trailer's pretty much full. I've got quite a few small offcuts and odds and ends here. I don't know if I'll squeeze any more. I might try and get one more. But yeah, we'll get this one trailer load sold, and then we'll have a go at getting the first buildings in, and then we can get some of our equipment put away. Quite a lot of the logs on here are quite big, and they didn't really sit down on the trailer very well, which made it a little bit difficult to get some of the others on. I'll just drop that one down. So I think we'll take that as it is, and we'll get that sold. So what I'll do is I'll get another load loaded up ready for next time, so we can sell that straight away. And there's probably another two full loads of the 2 trailers still there. So we'll go and get this sold, so then we'll get this first farm building in, so we've got somewhere to start storing our equipment. Right, so let's get this last load sold for today. It should take us up above 60,000. Yeah. Oh, one log left. Don't know if that's going to sell. It's one might have to move the trailer. I'm going to get that one to sit down. He's stuck on top of the floating on top of the trailer. Oh, there we go, another $714. So we're up to 61,176. So that'll be a big chunk of money towards getting the combine, which I imagine we're going to probably need for August. I suspect the sorghum will be ready in September, and the oats should be ready in August, I think. So we'll be doing our first harvest, so we'll need the combine for then. But as I said before, the buildings I want to put in aren't overly expensive, so they're not going to eat into that too much. And what I'll do, I'll leave the forest trailers over by this skid steer, so they're ready to be loaded up. I'll just park this up here, get the engine turned off. So you see we've got quite a big clearing now, and I did say I'd cut up to that tree which is right at the end of this track. There's another couple of trees just over here which I've got rid of as well. So we've got a fairly big open area here that we've worked our way in towards. So what we need to do is go into build mode. And the shed I want to get is this one from Omatana. This is the American Farm Buildings pack. So it's a nice old rustic, slightly dilapidated barn. Although there's some doors on it and not quite so many holes in the roof like there is on, which is the one that's this one that's in the base game. Although there's actually no holes in the roof on that one, but there is no doors. So it's the same shed as that, but we do have working doors. And there is the red one as well, which I've used previously, and a bluish one, but I think this one looks a little bit more old and rustic. So what I'm going to do is line it up so it's roughly the centre of the apex of the roof, in the centre of the track. We'll press V to disable collisions, and we'll get that in. So there's our new farm shed building. What we'll do as well is, I'm not going to spend too much money on the landscaping at the moment. We'll just put a little bit of dirt into it because there are three doors across the front of there that we want to be able to access. As we get a little bit more money as well, we can improve this area a little bit more and add a little bit more to it. So there is our first farm building. We've now got somewhere to store our equipment. Can't find the doors. There we go. Yeah, I might need to paint the ground texture inside here as well. So we've got more of a dirt rather than the forest ground. It's a fairly decent sized building. We can get quite a bit in here. The only downside is obviously the width of the doors is not brilliant, so some of the larger equipment like the seed drill, the rakes won't fit in here unless we take them apart. So not everything's going to fit in there, but it's a start. So what we'll do, we'll start getting some of the equipment up there. Start getting as much put in the shed as we can, so it's not all out in the open. Okay, so that's some of our equipment in the shed. There's the baler and seed drill, which I think are a little bit too big for the little John Deere to pull. So we'll swap over to the International again. And we'll get the baler put away. I'm just hoping I think the International just about fits in with dual wheels on. Or should just about fit. So we'll get the spreader. The little logging trailer, I did keep that because I wasn't sure if we actually need it again. Possibly just for throwing on some of the smaller offcuts to pick up by hand. But yeah, I'm not sure if we'll actually use that. It's not really worth anything, even if we sold it. So I did put quite a few hours on the starting equipment, just so it wasn't worth a lot of money. So there was no gain from selling it to use them for anything else. So I think I might just keep it and dump it somewhere out the way, and then if we need it, it's there. I did try and put it on the back of the other trailers, but it doesn't quite attach to the hitch on the larger trailers to be able to pull that behind as well. Right, will we fit in here? It's going to be one of those, you're going to have to be bang on in the middle to get in. Trying to think where the best place to put the baler is. Right, there is a door on that far corner there. I don't think we'll need to use that just yet, so we don't bring down the new shed, or the new old shed, crashing into the posts. I'll drop the baler in here. It's just the spreader, I think. The seed drill's not going to fit in here. As you see, it's quite tricky just to get out with this tractor. Seed drill's 6 meters wide, there's no way that's going to fit in. So we'll have to try and look for some other older style shelters, sheds that we can put some of that equipment in. But we'll be able to get the spreader in there out the way. At least that's under cover. The plough I don't think will fit in either, so that'll have to stay outside. Okay, so I've put most of the equipment away. I think we've only got a few bits and pieces left, and I've just quickly gone round and cut the grass down here. Just so next time we can continue cutting some of these trees around here into this clearing. We're having to drag them all the way down there. And then we can work our way. So we've got the winch now, so once we do start cutting a little bit further back from the clearing, we can drag them a little bit, but don't want to be a point where we're having to drag them too far. So we can continue working our way towards our boundary of the land, which I have to just double check where we are. So we are currently here. Oh yeah, so it looks like quite a bit to go yet before we get up to where we own. We own all the way down to the edge of the map this way, so we can go, and I'll probably bring it up, keep this tracking that runs along there. So we'll probably like clear this sort of area, and I think that's where it starts getting a bit raised. So if we concentrate on kind of in between those two roads and that bit where it starts to go up a bit, which is over that way, now we can get a fairly decent size farm down here. I say probably I'm more thinking of getting some sheep first, as they're a lot cheaper to start with and a lot easier to do. So maybe a small sheep farm here, and then as we expand somewhere else on the map, we can look to set up a big dairy farm as well and have them separate. So we're going to try and spread them out a little bit more on this map, just to help, because as you do progress, if you start getting a lot of things in one place, performance does start to drop a bit. So to help keep with things like that, I'll probably spread out a little bit more than I did on like the Western Wilds. Yeah, we've got plenty of logs. I'll get the rest of these loaded up, and I may just head windrow and bale up this bit of grass. So then what we'll do next time is probably get a bale spike, and I do also want to get another shed to put the bales in. But I may need to clear a few more trees just to create space for that. But I'm going to leave this episode here, so I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate that. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.